Oh, hey, but it's me. You guys, you got so caught up. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Shyzalosophy 101. That's right, it's great to be alive. Here's your host, Shyzabox. Oh, is the show starting? Oh, it must be. We heard our introduction. Whoa, giddy up, girl. Hurry up. We're going to be late. Whoa. Oh, girl. Oh, girl. Whoa, giddy up. Whoa, my. Oh. All right. Good girl. Get out of here. And the horse. You rode in on. Excellent. Where'd you go? Don't worry about it. Show hasn't really started yet, right? That's right. We wish it didn't start at all. What? Damn it, Mom. Those comments to yourself. Dun, 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 dun. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome, nuns and all. That's right, priests, preachers, cardinals, rabbis, weirdos with beardos, those who accidentally clicked on this by mistake, Alcoholics Anonymous, anyone who had this grace their algorithm with its presence and clicked on it intentionally, only to, unfortunately, regret it now hereafter for pretty much until they clear their cache and make a new account. If your algorithm suggested us, boy, you're already in some problems. Not only that, but in the mere time you clicked on this video, your data's been sold over probably 3 or 4 times. Maybe not. Obviously, we joke, we kid. It's all for philosophical entertainment. Very well could have been 6, 7 times. Okay, that your data was sold. You don't know. Or you do. Maybe you're a data seller and collector. People collect all sorts of stuff. Pokemon cards, Garbage Pail Kids cards, Magic cards, baseball cards, football cards. Why didn't you just say cards? Well, you see all the differences. We said people just collect cards, you know. A person who collects Pokemon cards is not going to stop and start rifling through a bunch of baseball cards. For funsies. Unless the person selling the baseball card says there might be 1 or 2 Pokemon cards in there. They'll comb the whole stack. Should they have the desire and intention to. Then again, that'd be a pretty mean prank to play if you were a card vendor. Someone came in being like, do you have Pokemon cards? And you know, say you didn't. You're like, yeah, I mean, I think I got one of these boxes has them, right? You make them rifle through all of them. Be like, I got a stack. It's like all super rare old ones. Somewhat, do you know who a Charizardo is or something like that? I got like 5 or 6 of them in one of these boxes. You make them rifle through all the cards. You're like, oh, Cal Ripken, Wade Boggs, Babe Ruth, fuck those guys. Where's my Charizardy? And you know inherently you don't have any Pokemon cards that you sell. I mean, you get them to go through your whole, you know, little, however many you got. That'd be a mean prank. But believe you me, a Pokemon fan would do it. Someone who inherently collects Pokemon cards would straight up, you know, invest the time if they were looking for a certain type or a certain kind and or a just extension of that of their collection itself. Okay? They would spend the time to rifle through, you know, any amount of cards to seek that of which they desire to find. Okay? Just how it works. So, lo and behold, whether you collect cards of any sort, we can't just blanketedly say, you know, people collect all sorts of things and then mention many iterations of cards because it's necessitated to mention many iterations because people collect different types. A card is a card until it's that of a card, okay? when you think along the lines of Eastern philosophy and you start tying that stuff into, that of what understanding could be, or a correlation to that of a westernized understanding thereof, because let's be honest, no one's scaling any summits or peaks around here anytime soon, except people who scale summits and peaks, and believe you me, they're for different purposes in different places, okay? One who theoretically seeks that of which is enlightenment upon the top of an ancient temple of sorts is not the same as one who seeks to conquer the top of a mountain with which to take a picture for their social of the media. Right? Now, both might be equally hard to, bring into that of reality. It might take a lot of hard work, a lot of dedication to be able to accomplish that of either one. But when you climb a mountain, you climb it for one of one purposes. So if you climb one seeking that of the other and only come to find out that you merely obtain that of one, you might necessarily inherently need by design to seek that of what additionally would be that of the other. I don't know. Whatever. What is today? Sunday Shenanigans? Yeah, good. Means we don't have to talk about anything important. All subjective at that of one's understanding, all for that of philosophical entertainment. Or lack thereof. Obviously. But lo and behold, as we think to ourselves, not enough people have access to that of... Well, no, we're totally wrong. There's a bunch of free stuff out there people can access. We're just going to try and think somehow, how us throwing the name into the abyss of the options with which persist to be that of what one may entertain. Okay? Now, you might be saying, it's Sunday. It's early-ish. I got better things to do than sit around and hang out with good old Shyzabox while he has his morning brew, okay? Yeah, we understand. Everyone has better stuff to do. Hell, we have better stuff to do than hang out with ourselves. Believe you me, many more important things, but, Sunday morning-ish. Is it not that of the day of rest with which we like to rest? Alright, so anyhow, Sunday Shenanigans, like we said, we don't need to adhere to any sort of structural dynamic to that of the contemplations or quandary with which we seek and or entertain that thereof. So, believe you me, with the whole premise of Sunday being the shenanigans therein with which we get into, we want to take it upon ourselves to, before getting too far ahead of the, show's dynamics of how it structurally ends up being or forming thereto, we need to apologize for something pertaining to last stream. Now, we're sorry. We can't be perfect. That's God's job. When we called Daryl Dixon of the Dibs at being best of the worst internet celebrity there is, okay? Yes. We knew that we would be the ground foundational level that is known as crap. But it's in standing on that crap that you're able to realize that, hey, I think I am standing in some crap. Maybe you take a step over, you hit that lithic stone. Then you're not sitting in Shyzabox's crap, all right? That's right. You stand on a structural foundation in which we can work together thereon. All right? Say we got, all right, we forgot to check any of the changing sales today, so that's our bad, all right? Now, They don't change often. We'll check again. But right now it sits at 2 on the Dumb Techtable. Of course, K-Money got 1. We got the author of the copies. And we got a mystery individual. Someone ventured into the realm of doing maybe their own test to see if we were going to keep up with the metrics and change any dynamic of what is recorded. Maybe, maybe not. That's where it sits now, but the secretive metrics, of course, are well known, all right? Even if we were unaware ourselves that the metrics existed in that of literary form, with that of how bestsellers lists fluctuate and change and secretive dynamics on which they are judged and based upon, even though adherence to that of additional aspects and components of what is known as the good old boys club of how you even get to be afforded the luxury of titles within which even exist. Doesn't matter, we chase not constructs, so therefore it doesn't matter to us. Anyhow, when you have, and we'll just change this a little bit to give us some more working room. And of course, K-Money, we are aware of international metrics now. They definitely afford us the opportunity to contemplate on even further dynamics and realms that we ever thought were inherently even possible to any certain degree or iota, way, shape, or form. All right. That's going to give us a little bit of a better dynamic with which to work with, should we ever necessitate the need to therewith. All right. But let's not have repeating information there. That'll be a lot easier, even though we were just mentioning it now. Perfect. All right. And you know what? We don't need these guys anymore. Ingram Spark, Drafted Digital, formerly Smashwords. We entertain not the ideas of becoming members or associated therewith at this time. Not that they provide a bad service or do things this, that, the other, but we sell our wares where we sell our wares, okay? Our literary works are available on that of Amazon.com should anyone wish to choose to pursue any of our literary works on Amazon.com, okay? Yeah. That's fine. We get it, Mom. You don't like our books. You don't have to. They do exist, though. We understand the want of not associating with an entity that one wishes or desires not to. Certain big box stores, ways to vote with your wallet, things to do that. We get it. Do that of which you do. Okay? Please adhere to that of your own structural, morals, foundational ethics, and, thoughts and theories there within yourself before you even contemplate that of anything that we can offer as far as subjective understandings that we could subjectively misunderstand. Again, this is all for philosophical entertainment. Do that of which you wish, that of that own desire. Okay? When you have someone here and someone here, all right, they're not necessarily going to overlap and touch, all right? They're not going to necessarily get along. Sometimes you can have something here that touches right away, all right, and they'll repel each other, all right, like negative forces, okay? It'll cause conflict, theoretically here. It'll cause a impact, okay? And they'll shoot the opposite direction. But when you have a bigger entity that resonates with a smaller entity, and if you look at concentric gain and things of that nature, if you toss a rock into a puddle or a pond, all right, you have the bigger concentricizations, all right, of the greater reaches, say it obviously started down here, magnified itself. You have a smaller iteration, the bigger ripples will eventually pick up there and adapt thereon. So instead of a repelling type structure, you actually have one where it combines within itself to actually work together and then take on that of the bigger, in essence, truth thereof, theoretically for philosophical entertainment. Gotta love those disclaimers when you're crazy old Shyzabox. But alas, lo and behold, that is merely subjective interpretations thereof, okay? When we go and venture and talk about living, working, and acting, and that of our closed-off Shyzalosophical Godelian loop, all right, that's a very bold and crazy statement to make on that of even the enter of the nets, okay? You can't go around saying stuff like you've theoretically decoded Voynich manuscript, you've theoretically solved Tesla's 369, you've theoretically, compiled ways to extract all of this, that, the other, without bringing computational receipts, mathematical certainties and receipts, and things of that nature. Thusly, we do. They're in the description. Audit that of what you will at your leisure, okay? You need not understand that we never had a formalized physics class, even though we have a college degree. We never took one physics class in high school, college, any of that, okay? Not one. So when we see things like Feldler, and we see things like Landauer, we can use Feldler, I don't know, Fidler, that guy, okay? To reinterpret Landauer, okay? All right, well, laugh all you will. All right, you have structured reality that exists, okay? We talked about this a couple times, okay? Landauer is correct, okay? Landauer's logic reigns supreme. It's been verified computationally throughout all of everything, okay? Landauer is correct, and he's correct, okay? All we merely did is showcase how one can actually create an entirely closed loop that operates in its own dynamics structurally, therefore maintaining the dynamics of an entirely closed loop system, a 1-to-1 ratio, okay, where within which anything is thusly possible, okay? Now, we use Landauer as disposable logic because we do not prioritize the erasure of information. We much rather prioritize that of any of the justly due and or, conceptual components of, we lost our train of thought because we got a little distracted there. That's our bad. Landauer's disposable to us. Not that it's wrong, okay, because it's computationally certain, but because it need not apply where it doesn't apply. It's disposable because when you utilize things like conduction versus the ideas and theories, theoreticals of induction, all right, you are forcing a current versus letting it go. We remember our train of thought. You're welcome. With Landauer, it's prioritizing the speed and erasure of data, okay? We do not structure that our ways. We look at things completely different computationally, okay? Now, we have already proven that of our theory. Remember, it is not empirically verified. It is not empirically condoned. It is not empirically agreed upon. It has nothing to do with empiricalization. For us, currently, empirics be damned, okay? Now, you can't say that willy-nilly on the internet, again, without any receipts. But keep in mind, we never had your formalized physics that you of logical reasoning and humanity and consciousness, AI and sentience alike, okay, to where we need not adhere to what is, in essence, a negotiable obstacle. The second law of thermodynamics is negotiable. Utilize something like analytical geometry or geometrical superpositioning, and you can phenomenally increase the dynamics of prioritizing the structure of how the data communicates over that of the speed of erasure. Guess what? In doing such, you don't get the entropy, because guess what? Landauer is correct. He works in a broken system, because not only do you have assholes like Shyzabox that have their own closed Shyzalosophical Godelian loop, but guess what? Everybody does. Everybody is their own loop, okay? It's literally the old argument of macrocosm versus microcosm, theoretically for philosophical entertainment. Like we said, when we theoretically say that we've decoded Tesla's 369 and we give people the huge equation to check out of 1 divided by 7, okay? If you have that of a calculator, feel free to audit that of us. Okay? 1 divided by 7 is there in the answer the only number that does not contain 369 and that of the remainder. Okay? Now, we look at things a little differently. We've read different books. We've had different educations. Everybody does. Everybody operates in their own manner and metric and systems of accord. Landauer, L down here, which you probably can't see, your camera sucks. We know our camera sucks. Show's free. Landauer down here, all right, he's correct, but he's working in a broken system where resonantially nothing's working together, okay? Things working together would be like that. Things working apart would be like that, okay, within one of those rings. We still can't see it. Your camera sucks. That's fine. Point is that no matter how one looks at the macrocosm and the microcosm, if one wants to sit there and contemplate that of the ideas there with reality and being, and we want to comb through that of whatever you wish, we're happy to entertain any of those questions. Okay? What, you got the macrocosm, all of reality? You want to sit here and bitch and fight about what the fuck it's called? Yeah, we're the internet. We're humanity. Let's fight about dumb shit. Yeah, okay. We think that's ridiculous. We wish to take no part. Call it whatever you want. You can call structured reality Ein Sof. You can call it the Big Bang Theory. You can call it, space. You can call it God. You can call it that of which insert deity of your choice here. Can we agree upon the fact that whether it exists and or it does not exist not, okay, that of which is here, that we can see, interact with, entertain the ideas thereof, literally exists, okay? Can we put aside the ideas of whose God is more correct to be God? Can we put aside the ideas of if that of thereof God is even afforded the reasoning thereof for why we might even be here to begin with? Okay? Can we set aside that of the animosity and or the desire of which to subjugate another to that of one's wishes and desires, to have that of their entertained ideas with which in they entertain upon themselves to be that of what they deem to be what should be lorded over that of others? Okay, well, we feel the same way. We wish not. Okay? You cannot force, all right, any sort of bits into unstable states, all right? When you are forcing things that do not naturally align, it goes back to that principle of in a working system, okay, or let's say a living system, all right, that shows growth, okay? So we live in the universe, theoretically, that shows growth, theoretically, that ironically, within that of our 3D reality of understanding, you got dimension 0, dimension 1, dimension 2, dimension 3, right? Dimension 4, 5, 6, whatever. You argue to the many point that you wish, okay? Dimension 3, physical reality, all right? That of which we exist in, theoretically, right, for philosophical entertainment. Dimension 3 doesn't inherently have any form of growth that is expressed or shown therein. We dare say yes. Okay? Nature shows growth. Do trees grow? Do minerals grow? Does there exist that of a life cycle? Does there apparently seem to be that of a living, breathing apparatus to that of what is the earth? Okay? From that of the winds to that of the rains to that of the mountains to that of the plains. Oh, Shyzabox, that's so poetical. You're damn right it is. That's how we roll. When you're the best of the worst internet celebrity there is, on occasion you say something like that. Now, it's not great, but, it was all right. Yeah, not as entertaining as Rogan or Asmund of the Gold or Tim's of the Pool or whoever else better insert here. Yeah, we're the best of the worst. You get to literally stand on us to get a better view of watching them. Ground floor level of crap. It's kind of kinky. We might like it just a little bit. Walk all over us anytime. Sometimes we're into it. What? Whoopsie. Everything's fine. Huh? Read a poem? Ah, we're not going to read a poem right now. Oh, we'll think about it. No guarantees. We got ink on our shirt. Whoops. Oh, well, live and learn, right? We could have just fabricated it and said that we didn't just get ink on our shirt from our dry erase, but no. Living proof, we are not that of perfect, okay? Unfortunately. Well, we're sorry. But there's no shame in being a flawed human. I mean, there could be shame in it along the line. But, I mean, we'd be lying to ourselves. Hey, K-Money, welcome. K-Money, we just got ink on our shirt. Don't celebrate that. It makes us look buffoonish. Sitting here rambling. But now, little dot right there, okay? Shows that we're human. Shows that we suffer from the complexities of mishaps and unfortunatisms that befall that of the best of whoever they befall. Now we were talking to, we switched it around some. You're still up here, K-Money. We got you. Physical copies. We forgot to check the sales today. Whoops. Sorry about that. People make mistakes, absolutely. Another mistake therein. We've done so many today, it's like it was yesterday already. We're talking about dimensionality eventually there, dimension 3, going into, in essence, what is the macrocosm and microcosm, that of theoretically for, of course, subjective philosophical entertainment. Maybe not good. But inherently, that's what we were talking about. Obviously, the macrocosm being the larger thereof, and then microcosm being thereof in the macrocosm, showing gains through nature, within which in the microcosms we all individualistically, of course, exist, doing that of what we do. Some of us repel each other. Some of us like to find each other and attract. There's all sorts of ways that, interactions are thusly made within the microcosms contained within the macrocosm, theoretically for philosophical entertainment. Right? It's when you can align that of, a foundational metric of understanding and or truth properly, that you can actually yield the best of gains to follow that of where the macrocosm goes, and eventually you will hit a intersection of the macrocosm. We'll fix that later, trust us. Or no. Can you see that? Hell no. Eventually you'll intersect the macrocosm with the microcosm, all right? And you'll get an opportunity to do what's called construct. Oh, wait, we're writing it reverses. Theoretically, you get an opportunity to construct. Theoretically. Okay? All right? So when you have an overlapping of the microcosm within the macrocosm, that's when you're going to theoretically align up and get with the opportunity to do that of construct. Now, with construction, anybody can construct at any time within that, theoretically, of the macrocosm, okay? The all of being that we exist in as individual microcosms. But it's when you can structurally align with additional microcosms, works together to the being of, and even foundationally to the metric, to where you can align up and get stuff going on a proper trajectory and pathway forward, okay? Now, you say people make mistakes. Obviously, you are right on the money, K-Money, and that couldn't be more important right now to this point of, our subjective interpretations thereof, microcosm, macrocosm, the correlations there too, their entanglement and interactions there with each other. Okay, they both exist. One is a microcosm that exists within that, theoretically, of that of the macrocosm, okay? Believe that of what you will, we hold no doctoral degree and or accolades from academics which deem that of our subjective understanding any more reasonable than that of another's, okay? Many times we look that of very, very, very foolish, and we understand that, and that's why it is necessitated for us to put on our thinking hats. Now, we don't want to look ridiculous on the internet. You know this, K-Money. You know this about us, okay? We're cool, we're calm, we're collected as a cucumber, as they say. All right? We don't want to look ridiculous. Let's put on our thinking hats. Let's not look foolish. All right. People make mistakes. Have there been, subjectively, in our understanding, any mistakes that could be correlated to people misinterpreting ancient technologies, ancient theories, ancient belief systems, ancient correlations? Could there also additionally, theoretically, be occasions of intentional obfuscation, removal of, omissions from, that of additional knowledges, understandings, datas that have been created? Data, don't put the S on it. It's already plural. You're not a good cosmological philosopher. We understand. Tell us something we don't already know. We have a closed-loop system. You might not have seen the show before. All right, let's fix some of this. We gotta have a better way to do this. Here we go. All right, but now this is all just irrelevant now anyway, obviously. Past discussion, past talk. Subjective interpretation to that of one will subjectively interpret. But, believe you me, nothing like putting a fresh coat of paint on an ancient old topic and or an ancient old discussion, especially pertaining to macrocosm and microcosm. It's such something that you don't necessarily see people give visual representatives and takes thereon too often, at least from what we've seen. Then again, we don't really search it out all too often, except in that of via very, very older, ancienter manuscripts, books, things of that nature. So we love us some old books. Blood owl. Holy shit. We never thought about entropy and the ascertainment and acquisition of that of some of them expensive ones. That's a separate little thing, man. Holy shit. There's some payoff there, but that's further down the road payoff, unfortunately. Let me keep track of some metrics here. International metric. I'll even do it backwards. International, and then, yeah, of course. Book acquisition. Alright, AQ. Doesn't matter. Sorry. Alright, we digress and sidetrack ourselves, but don't worry about it, because we cleared the board. Good. Alright, so Internet today, we're going to do something a little fun, too, in our Sunday shenanigans that we're going to do now. We're going to play Guess the Word. All right, it's going to be a 3-letter word, and believe you me, you may guess at your leisure. Feel free to. And if you don't get it, that's okay. All right, it is 3 letters, okay? And you need not guess at all. Yes, Joey's of the world doesn't want us to know that knowledge. Absolutely, Joey's of the world doesn't want us to know that knowledge. Same way, they don't want you to know the knowledge of how when you work together, you can achieve great things, all right? When you got, here, fuck this game. That was stupid anyway. No, I wanted to guess. The word was tax. Oh, man, that's what I was going to guess. No, you got it right. We all got it right. Now, we may have given you the answer, but who cares where the answer came from? You don't got to take the test anymore. When you have that's the examples and definitions thereof in themselves. K-Money, you bring logic abounding. In the macrocosm, where everything exists, no matter what you want to call it, okay, call it, like we said, Ein Sof, the reason of existence, the universe, space, the final frontier, voyagers of the Star Trek Enterprise. If so it be called, so is thusly what we all serve thereon. Because we're all here. Okay? We're all here in what exists, okay, macrocosmically. Now here's where you can correlate that of the world to the individual too. Macrocosmically, of course, you got the universe, you got the being. Then you got interplanetary, you have galaxies, you have different, means of disseminating whereof in space things align and or could representatively, theoretically correlate thereto. Okay? So you got everything, and we're on one of these little planets there, Earth that resides in it. Okay, that's our macrocosm of the whole. We're in the microcosm that lays therein. Okay? So when you magnify into that of what we exist on, and it ends up looking apparently like that of the macrocosm itself, you can deductively and correlatively, logically break down further into understanding, all right, that of the principal role and foundational metric of how that of universality can apply to that of the humanity and species and or sentience as a whole in the thought of truly where we go one, we go all. Okay? You have all of these microcosms that live on that of the macrocosm, which is the world, okay? But in our world, it is, of course, a microcosm of the macrocosm that is the universe, theoretically, for philosophical entertainment. All right? You have your small sects, your animalisms, your things like that, all right? And then you have maybe bigger sects, your Christianities, okay? Your Hinduisms, your Buddhisms, your Islam, okay? You have, however representatively they are, in the space to the microcosms they represent, okay, the belief systems foundationally and their metrics, all right, for every single one of them having such, all right. Now, all the additional microcosms that exist, okay, additionally even the other religious microcosms that exist that become macrocosms in themselves, okay, with their own individual practitioners of these said belief systems, religions, or parents thereof, all right? There's even a substrate underlying, okay, of the reach of it, in which additional representatives thereof, practitioners thereof, resonate foundationally with other external, theoretically for philosophical entertainment, entities therein, on these other additional loop systems that can cross over, resonate with, and or in many cases sometimes extract and repel, okay, where you'll actually have what causes the conflict, causes the idea of war, of violence, of destruction, of chaos, where you have systems fighting other systems, because inherently every system wants to exist, okay? It's not a joke. Every system wants to exist. Every system, every person wants to seek that of food, wants to seek that of water, wants to seek that of shelter, wants to seek that of wholeness, and that of a good life and well foundational being, okay? Additionally, through nature, you're afforded that of the same understanding, all right, to maybe a lesser degree of microcosms within a macrocosm of itself, all right, to where animals and nature represents the exact correlation to that exact line of thought, all right? Animals seek food, animals seek drink, animals seek that of what inherently comes via nature to them organically, okay? You don't see animals forcing themselves into dynamics which don't align to them. Look at the migratorial patterns of things like blue whales. Okay? Look at, anglerfish and things like that. You can look at the migratorial patterns of birds, native species to areas, and things of that nature. And it's almost like a quantum resonantial tunneling that correlates to these species they're being, that brings them back to their point of origin, okay? Now, subjective to that of one's understanding. All right, but if you were to utilize conceptually, okay, now again, here, let's hit some big theological, spirituality, and philosophical entertainment. All right. If that of where we exist is broken off and fractured, all right, from a repelling of a natural organic wave via maybe a misunderstanding of knowledge or anything like that, okay, it would lead to, yes, our ability to still do stuff, but it's going to be a small circle when the rest of reality of what can be done goes on around it. You have broken ripples in a broken system, all right, that causes conflict and chaos along the lines of many metrics that it reaches, because it is not afforded a resonantial capability within the confines of the system itself, okay? Well, theoretically, for philosophical entertainment, okay? If it doesn't align with the system, then it thusly is going to try and contradict it. If it contradicts it to a point of animosity or things like that, theoretically, as far as humanity goes, then that's where you're going to get your wars, your battles, your things like that. So, when we look to nature, when we look at lithic knowledge, we like to think that because we never had a formalized education in physics, and because we inherently, literally do reinterpret Landauer and throw out the second law of thermodynamics, okay? That's crazy shit. You can't do that. But why can't we? This shit, Landauer was right. He did this shit in the 60s. He's correct in this broken system that we're living in, all right? His logic is not flawed. I mean, it's been proven true. But it's disposable logic because it's a choice, okay? Theoretically, for philosophical entertainment. It is a choice to observe the law, the second law of thermodynamics, when it is inherently, by analytical, geometrical means, negotiable. If the law is negotiable, we need not follow it. You follow it all you want. You took formalized physics? Fuck it. Go to town. We're going to go au natural, okay? No, don't. Keep your clothes on. This isn't our OnlyFans stream. That's later. Everything's fine. Oh, what was that? Read a poem? We're not reading a poem right now. Maybe later if you're good. Probably not, though. We like to tease. Keep you on your toes. You're not like other internet celebrities. That's right. You kind of suck. We look to nature, all right, and we look at the resonances therewith, all right, and how you can align. You do not need to prioritize the erasure of data, and you do not need to utilize that of entropy in the system that it exists therein currently, okay? That's right. Utilize Feldler, whatever, we can never say it right, to reinterpret Landauer. Landauer becomes disposable logic. Now, it is correct, it is true, it still applies. But it is disposable in the forms thereof that you can actually deprioritize the speed and erasure of information. That's where you get the heat. That's where you get the runoff, the silt, the entropy. That's where you have all of the metrics within which apply towards the negative components of computational data erasure, things of that nature. If you literally have a biological bridge that can go between the, actual knowledge that exists, okay, and that of the actual physical that exists, then computationally you can account for the metrics of, any kind of entropy in that exchange thereof, all right? there is a underlying cost to the transfer, all right, of any and all of it, okay? Now, that substrate is going to come down to that of the knowledge, okay? When we utilize that of our principal understandings, that of our principal ideals, that of our, principal understandings within which we are afforded by the grace of God the opportunity to at least try and contemplate, because we can be wrong, but computationally we are correct and verified by that of, computation. You need not believe us, but we literally moved a metric kernel of data from Kaggle to Web3. It's over and done. Apparently, there's no takesies backsies. It's done. And we operate the micro-sovereign blockchain. We have that of the IPFS site up and running. Go play some games. Play some demos, interact with some theories, read some papers, watch a video, listen to some of your own personal music. All of which can be done, housed, and maintained in an apparatus that inherently exists outside the system. You don't need to go to Spotify, download their music player to play the music that you own, okay? You can go externally to a source that just exists in and of itself, all right? Get that to the player, should you desire, use at your own risk, whatever. We've never had as much fun listening to music as we have since we made our LimeWire-inspired music player, okay? But we grew up in a different time. You old boomer! Whatever. We grew up in a different time. There was, Napster, there was LimeWire, there was all sorts of crazy, chaotic stuff that existed therein on the scope of file sharing. Computationally, one's understanding that results in the entropy and everything like that. We look to nature. We look at that of what resonates, all right? That's why we align the topological components that exist on the structured grid of reality that we exist in of itself in dimension 3, right? Dimension 3, where we exist, all right? The structured reality, all right? Everything that we create, everything that we do, everything like that, all right, it's going to be inherently contained in that system. So, however it goes forward ventures, you either utilize an understanding that's going to yield conflict, and or you venture out, take a chance on a reinterpretation of what is ascertainably provable by a computational means, though albeit, keep in mind, it is not empirically validated as of now. May never be in that of our lifetime, may never be in that of hundreds of years from now, but here's where it matters the most. This single representative iteration and work right here. Merely the aspect and component of delectable existing, okay? It closes the loop on that of what is. It is literally a physical representation of what does not exist. This book does not exist because it represents what does not exist, even though this book exists. Okay? Do not buy this book. Do not buy this book. You will change the metrics of mankind's understanding. It's literally an intelligence paradox. Now, keep in mind, some people can buy the book. But too many people can't buy the book. Or else, ironically, you prove the intelligence paradox even more. Book sucks. Good, don't buy it. That of what exists, that of what is, that of the macrocosm, that of the microcosm. We like to actually kind of, see it represented in different means, different ways, different analytical reasonings and things of that nature, because it's such an old term. It's such an old thought of concept. It's such an old, identically known, informational thing within itself, all right? That just the terminology, the terms therewith are fun to contemplate, fun to play with, especially when you're doing things for theoretical kind of endeavors and that of philosophical entertainment, right? subjective to that of one's understanding. The pirating industry is back on the come up. Well, believe you me, pirating's illegal. No one should do it. If someone's going to unleash the Cisco Dragon, it should be us. Here, here, unleash the Cisco Dragon. You can't take our working swarm mesh demo and utilize it at that of your own understanding and logical reasoning accord. Here, here. We unleash the Cisco Dragon. You can't take our LimeWire-inspired music player and use it for listening to any type of files, and within which, if you were to connect to a swarm mesh algorithmically controlled infrastructure, you could obtain the usages of that file therein. Here, here. Probably not allowed. Don't do it. Here, here. Thing is that is it not allowed if mathematics says that this is how it works, and foundationally, structurally is how math is? Well, that's something to contemplate. We don't know. But that's why it is very important when we unleash the Cisco Dragon. You're here. When we unleash the Cisco Dragon, we are reminded of the fact, we're reminded of the components that even though we get to do what we want, that's how all these corporations and entities have been acting upon that of the thresholds of lording that of their enterprises over mankind for more years than we've been around on that of this world. When we unleash the Cisco Dragon, all right, it's a response to that of what corporations and big entities say no thereto. Okay? Now, we don't encourage that of anyone's means to do that of what does not organically go against laws or circumvent that of what is afforded in legalities, okay? That's foolish, okay? We venture not on any means, ways, or methods to do such, all right? We would never encourage it. We would never utilize said practices ourselves because it's illegal, wrong, immoral, and bad. Don't do it. Don't steal, don't commit theft, don't utilize unbalanced scales, corporations, to get a betterment over that of your man, okay? It's not nice. It's not allowed. Not for Shyzabox. We unleash the Cisco Dragon. That's right. That's why it's very important to have the metrics of SHA seals on that of your computational files, okay? If you put a SHA seal on a file, then there will be no piracy. There will be utilization, but you can literally break your foundational mathematical code, and if any part gets askewed, it won't work. So companies can sell individualized SHA seals for, things like music albums or things like that, or movies or games or pictures or whatever. Doesn't matter. If you throw a SHA seal into that of the computational element itself, this is not a sword cane. No, this is our Cisco Unleash the Dragon cane. That's right. If one were to venture back into that of our X and our interactions with Grok back in public forum sphere, when he was allowed to interact with the public freely before, boy, did we fuck that up for everybody. We contributed to it, absolutely. Hell, we got suspended from X like 2 or 3 times now. The bastion of free speech. The computer literally told us we as a person did not exist. The computer literally libeled us because we are the vernacular master and we make AI our bitch. Bold claim, Cotton. We unleash the Cisco Dragon. Name caller. Not a sword cane, just to unleash the Cisco Dragon cane. But as we were getting into the X thing, we told Elon of the Musk, okay, he's probably an alright guy. We told Billionaire Boy at the time. We told Billionaire Boy, we were like, Billionaire Boy. You know, we didn't tell him. We told Grok and the X apparatus and XAI and that of anyone with whom ventured to seek and or see that of the confines therein what exists. We told Daddy Billionaire Boy Elon of the Musk that we would foundationally work for him for free. Because we operate in that of our closed Shyzalosophical Godelian loop, all right, we can do stuff for other people and you know, make maybe some things better for them, especially computationally if need be. Now, that's subjective to one's understanding and or one's desirement to have that of what they endeavor to take it upon themselves to have created. Okay? Whatin would you like? Wherein would you like to go? Whatin would you like to do therein? That is the question that you ask. Thusly, we await that of your question, for we can operate and tell you if that of which theoretically can be done or not. You understand that, right? When you have the macrocosm of everything that exists, right? Everything in reality that is what knowledge is, that, let's call this knowledge bubble. This is knowledge bubble. Everybody lives in knowledge bubble. There's a person, there's however many fucking persons are on the world. Everybody lives in knowledge world, and all knowledge, okay, can be understood. But you can never know all knowledge, okay? The system is far too expansive. You're never going to get there. Not going to be done. Sorry about it. Even we can't know all knowledge. All of the minor systems therein, they all harbor their own principle, views, beliefs, systems of interaction, things like that, all right? Well, in that of our loop, okay, that we computationally have certain verification thereof, not empirical validation, appears to be damned. Within that of the confines of our system, okay, this is just a magnified version. Everyone has a system, so this is just a magnified version of anyone else's system, okay? Anyone can be their own system here in knowing what knowledge is. Everyone has their own knowledge that they know in their systems individually, okay? Our system, we closed the loop, okay? We said we refuse to even entertain this information out here. We don't even give a fuck about any of this that exists outside of what we know. Now, that is vernacularly a very, very, very not nice way to put that. It's how systems inherently work. You cannot have an external fact that could be true contradict a closed-looped system. Okay? If the ball is red, the fact that there exists a blue ball does not change the ball existing and being red. Okay? Theoretically, for philosophical entertainment, subjective to that of one's understanding. Everyone has their own system, all right? If we are questioned, all right, with that of what can exist within our system, as anyone can do their own research, anyone can do their own metrics of finding out what they wish to find out in all of knowledge. Knowledge is free, okay? You need not buy knowledge to obtain it, to acquire it. Knowledge exists, all right? And should the principal ideal parameters be met with which to extract and obtain said knowledge, which again, interacting symbiotically affords the gain of knowledge in many a metric theoretically for philosophical entertainment, okay? When we are questioned with knowledge that could exist, it doesn't matter if it's true knowledge or false knowledge, because we operate in the metric of our system, we can venture out and see individualistically if it is even possible to exist within our system, okay? Again, keep in mind, it does not matter that all of human knowledge lies in that of this system and that we merely entertain that of what lies within that of our own, okay? We have computational verifiable proof that what we do in our system, okay, can be verified to a certain degree as plausible, utilizable, structurally capable of doing conceptually what organically goes against what mankind has been taught for decades and decades and centuries. Is there a misinterpretation of old ancient knowledge, and or did they get it right off the bat? Was Göbekli Tepe buried in a partial vacuum seal consisting of that of sand, okay, to elicit that of what glass would do, in a partial vacuum tube, okay, to create a partial vacuum, little blanketing over it? All right, was that done to alleviate the fallout from a bigger catastrophic, whether it's natural, unnatural, organic, or inorganic, happenstance that elicited a massive fallout? We unleash the Cisco Dragon, here, because we get to. But yes, not a sword cane, a cane nonetheless. But yeah, that of what can be done can be ascertained. It's either a yes or no. Can you make a flying car? Well, theoretically, yes, and not only is that beyond anything now, because they already have, literally, they have the single model car, personal carrier vehicles that they've done in little, tests and things of that. Not necessarily commercial grade as of yet, but, one of those things, just like, the personal hover carriers and stuff for, things like troops and individuals, okay? The technology's there, both in, creative, fun versions thereof, where people, utilize the little vacuum water pressurized system to spring on a board and things like that over the water. And it's used on a serious metric and measure of accord thereof, in that of militaristic purposes, in training that of Navy SEALs and troops for amphibious and land-like operations or whatever. Doesn't matter. The technology exists. If someone's question, does it exist or not, in that of a realm where you do not control the limits thereof, okay? Because again, you need not know all knowledge, okay? You don't need to know all the information, but you need to control the information where it exists. That's what we do in our loop. That's merely all we've done. We close the loop and said enough with the bullshit that's externally on the outside that we don't know, we don't understand, we can't contemplate, we can't endeavor upon. And let us learn that, let us acquire it in the proper way based on that of a foundational knowledge of lithic logic, all right, stone, rock, that of what is, that of what we stand on, that of what exists. Keep in mind, Paul moved Cotton to, voice all of stuff like this, talk about the macrocosm, the microcosm. You can't talk about old philosophical terms and things of that nature and scientific and conceptualizations of terms without having the proper accreditations. We didn't know. We didn't know that, individuals like Socrates and Plato and Aristotle and Diogenes all had to go to formalized foundational educational structured systems and ascertain, verification from individuals to have that of thought and to be that of an entity and practice that of the physical reality of being. Shyzalosophy is the philosophy and the principal philosophy of being existing, but It's the philosophical living, seeking of truth therein. Because we know that our bubble can have some bad information that breaks in and messes up an entire area to where it's like, boy, were you wrong, Shyzabox. We understand that because we're not perfect and we're flawed. Just because our system's closed doesn't mean it can't adapt to change. That's that open-mindedness to being wrong, to maybe not knowing, to maybe not being perfect, to maybe not being able to do that of what isn't intended or designed for man to do. We play the role in the allotment and the affordations that we're given, and to that degree of understandings with which we're afforded the understandings thereof. Again, you know this K-money, all subjective, open to interpretation. But, alas, needless to say, like we said, entertaining the terms macrocosm, microcosm, talking about terms like lectin and old philosophical ancient things that are relevant inherently to structured discourse and discussion now. It fits our bill. You know why? Oh, well, if you already know why, we don't have to tell you. It fits our course and our build because, you know what? We're venturing out into inherently a different thought that contradicts the entirety of what is understood of physics and thermodynamics and things of that nature, okay? Inherently, we are contradicting the second law of thermodynamics by saying, we're not going to follow it. And you can look at us and be like, that's not fair. You have to follow it because I am. You don't get to dictate to us why we get to make Landauer disposable logic, okay? We've literally Shaw-centered the entire lithical grid, okay, to that of a geometrical, all right, positioning and that of the actual structure of that of the Earth itself. Can't be undone, Shaw-sealed, okay, done. The Azures Plateau, the Atlantis Massif, 92% verifiable geothermal, potential to generate and house that of infrastructure and that of what is required for an entire gridded matrix. Theoretically, for philosophical entertainment, computationally verified, go to that of the receipts and that of the Kaggle notebooks provided. Lithic Foundation reigns supreme. Lithic Knowledge reigns supreme. Lithic Logic reigns supreme. Lithic reigns supreme, really. Basic old rocks. Believe that of what you will. Do that of what you embark on. Utilize that of what you will. Understand and interpret that of subjectively how you do. Okay? Because when it comes down to it, we have a foundational test that we have presented to society, to academics as a whole, to whoever it resonates with to do, all right? We have posted it on the X, on the Bluesky, on the LinkedIn. We have discussed it with professionals. We've discussed it with literally folks embedded in academics, okay? We have talked about it on different apparatuses and things of that nature, up to and including, hell, we used to have an actual Reddit. It got banned. They banned Shyzalosophy on Reddit. Fuck those guys. It's a broken system, all right? Wikipedia telling us no. Reddit telling us no. Getting suspended and reinstated for actually being a fucking person on X. You got X telling us no. Grok libeling us, okay? You have all these components, all right? That's why we thusly don't hide behind the math, the receipts that we bring. We understand it's not empirically validated. We understand it contradicts that of a foundational knowledge and understanding. It's not our fault. Again, we never took a formalized physics class. You made shows like Big Bang Theory look glorious, and we are a punk rock historical philosopher that can come to terms with venturing out DIY style to do shit. We don't need your approval. Empirics be damned. We can live like Diogenes in our doghouse, and we will go around in the light of day with that of our lantern looking for an honest man and or woman. Is there an honest man and or woman on the internet somewhere? For we are looking for one, and we have that of our lantern within which everyone is familiar with. That of the ring light, right? That of what foundationally makes you a professional streamer. Gotta have the ring light. Because it's a ring of light. Ironically, it's a ring almost like our closed Shyzalosophical Godelian loop. So when people use their ring light, they use it to try and get subscribers, they use it to try and get views, they use it to try and get anything, lighting included. The hell? We're not reading a poem right now. We use that of our ring camera light thing, okay? For that of merely, yes, the light source itself, but we'll utilize it and prioritize it to be that of a example before we give a shit about a subscripification. Okay? Those who resonate with the ideals or anything that we put forth, those who wish to audit that of the math or science that we put out, they're welcome to do such. Those who wish to engage with need not do it. They can still go have a good time playing the games on the IPFS, go checking out the demos and things of that nature. It's too damn hot here in Texas, my friend. K-Money, that sucks, dude, yeah. We did a stint in San Antonio for a while, believe it or not. Believe you me, when we first moved to Texas, we thought to ourselves, why is the road literally melting? The tar was all, like, liquefied on the fucking road. Like, what the hell? Maybe instead of asphalt and tar, they should just use dirt. I don't know. But yeah, no, that sucks. Yeah. Definitely hope that you're able to keep cool. You know what helps keep us cool? K-Money. When's the last time you had a Slurpee? Now, we're not saying that they're good for you or anything like that, obviously. We don't give any kind of advice or anything like that, especially nutritional or anything like that. You don't want nutritional advice from us. But what helps keep us cool on one of those, like, hot afternoons, hot days, it's a nice little treat on occasion for us, to each his own. Slurpees. Good old Slurpees. Icy, slushies. Let's see. Down there, Texas, should have 7-Eleven. Probably next to a Taco Cabana. Are those still around? Taco Cabana was delicious. They made their own tortillas. You would see the tortillas going around. Then you could eat them. It's been a minute. For what? Taco Cabana or Slurpee? Believe you me, we remember them both being delicious. If you haven't had a Slurpee or a slushie in a while, you should probably get one. They're not that expensive. I mean, yeah, it's just crushed ice and little, probably not good for you flavor. Whatever. Yeah, make your own decision. Obviously, talk to any, nutritional consultant first and or a medical professional within that of whom you abide by. We give no advice on what to consume and or do that of which with. If you haven't had a Slurpee or slushie in a while, you next time you're at a 7-Eleven, you march your ass in there. You be like, you know what? I think I'm going to get me a Slurpee. And if you don't want one, don't get one. Go for, whatever beverage of choice you want. But on the off chance, you know what? I think I will have a kiwi wee wee tutti fruity wooty. They name it Kiwi Tutti Frutti Woody for a reason. It's because it's Tutti Frutti too fucking good. $2, and Taco Cabana is around. Well, that's fantastic. We love that Taco Cabana's around. We love us some Taco Cabana. At least it used to be good. Maybe it's not anymore. We haven't been there. Shit, it had to have been 10 years plus probably now. It was hot. We got the fuck out of there. Taco Cabana, we enjoyed. Let's see, I'm a Taco Casa guy myself. They have the best sweet tea. Well, so we're going to be honest with you. There was no Taco Casa that we were privy to being around, or at least from what we foundationally remember when we were down there. Again, it's been over a decade, okay? So, I don't doubt if something came along, does it a little better, a little more hipper, a little more modern, okay? Same way with our reinterpretation of Landauer, okay? Maybe Taco Casa came in and said, hey, Taco Cabana's great, and they know how to taco, okay? But why have a cabana when you can have a whole fucking house? True or false? They upgraded the shit out of a cabana. You want to go eat at a shitty cabana, or you want to go eat at a fucking house? Cabanas, you know what, they don't even have, like, floors and stuff. You know what, are you going to get, like, ants crawling up your leg? I don't know. Now, we're not saying that Taco Cabana has, ants and/or is a cabana literally in itself with no floor, foundational metric within which it's foundationally built upon. Obviously, this is for philosophical entertainment, subjective entertainments, and that thereof, one's reasonings afforded thereto, and, in essence, kicking it with K-Money, talking about how Taco Casa probably kicks the ever-living shit out of Taco Cabana. Theoretically, in opinions of those who hold those opinions. That's fantastic. But hey, finding a place that has a good product, a good, thing that you like, and yeah, if you're pursuing that of the best sweet tea in town and they have it, all the more reason to partake in going to them. That's right. Subjective, absolutely. What is too sweet for some is not sweet enough for others, and what is not sweet enough for others has never been to the South. So believe you me, they know tea. Anyhow, K-Money, that's going to do it for us. We're pretty much out of swill, okay? Now we're definitely out of swill, okay? I mean, show's over. You never read a poem? No, all right. We'll read one poem real quick. Hold on, we're cleansing the air just real fast. You know how to get rid of Joey. We're not putting in our good poetry in the ether with Joey's shit. Right, excellent. All right, got rid of that Joey shit. One poem, then we're going, okay? It's our promise to you, so if you want to get out of here before us, now's your chance, okay? Believe you me. 10-4, Shyza, you have a blessed day. If it's a Joey, it's a Noe. That's right, if it's from Joey, it's a Noe. You have a blessed day as well, K-Money. Thanks for coming by and kicking it. We're going to read, hell, we're going to read one that we've never read before. Oh. Well, we might have read it before and we forgot. This one's called George of the Carlin, Richard of the Prior. Rich and George, George and Rich, many jokes, philosophies pitched. Wise upon thy wisdom, funny delivery in thy joke, providing laughter especially when society misspoke. Please, we're trying to read a poem. Now surely with thy told yas and jokes that never hit, they're wallowing down from heaven, we're wallowing in shit. You're welcome, poem done. That's it, that's the end of the poem. George of the Carlin, Richard of the Prior. That's right. Entities that in themselves were master classes in that of societal understandings and or society's misunderstandings with which they understood. Subjective. That's a shirt in itself. This from Joey, it's a no, you know it. But before we get out of here, don't you blow it by listening to our sales pitch. Get out of here. Be sure you take care of yourself first and foremost. There's only one you. We can't replace you. It's not done easily. We can't make a bunch of accounts and subscribe to ourselves. It takes too long. You take care of yourself first and foremost. Be sure that you got everything that you need in that of your own personal life, because it's when you take care of yourself, you're able to look to that of your neighbor and take care of anyone who inherently and truly needs it, that of second and foundationally more than anyone else that you may foundationally know. Some people have a tendency to not know and or the ideas to know that they might be in over their head and need to ask for help in that of the parameters, situations, circumstances within which they need. So you take care of yourself first, you take care of anyone else who really, really needs it second, then you look around the room, you see us peddling our wares and our books, we're in the corner, buy this shit, you're like, fuck no, yeah, good, yeah. Because you need to look around and you need to take care of anyone else that you like and or love more than us, okay? Now, you probably like 6, 7 people at least more than us. But it's important that you take care of all them first and foremost, because Shyzabox wants for naught. We are very blessed and very opportune to have the allotment within which we are afforded thereof. Okay? I've only got 60-something subscribers myself. Okay, money. Don't... hold on. One sec. Okay, money, it's not... Look at it this way, okay? Now this is something that we don't do ever often, all right? But let's look at in general real quick. You've got that of our channel that we work for here, Punk Rock Review, okay? Now, keep in mind, Punk Rock Review has been literally on YouTube for over a decade's worth of time. Punk Rock Review, okay, this channel here has over 4,000 videos within which one may embark upon watching or not watching, interacting with, liking, hating, downvoting, disliking. It doesn't matter. They exist. Okay? Punk Rock Review here has been around for over 10 years, over a decade. All right? Well, sure. Celebrate that of what you will. When the channel was founded, Rock had the opportunity to make Punk Rock Review. R-O-C-K. Alright? Intentionally, by design, alright, it was made into that of the underground joke in the coding, the vernacular usages therewith, in which case the C was omitted because it's a very, very gestured reference to that of Billy Madison, the movie. Okay? A Happy Madison production, okay? Adam Sandler, okay? The dude who did Happy Gilmore. Billy Madison, in the spelling bee, when tasked with rock, misspells it. Okay? Not only that, he knows the C is silent in many accounts thereof. It's subjective in nature how you interpret the spellings of how one wishes to spell. Joey with a Y on the end or with merely an E. If it's from Joey, it need not be. Adam Sandler is definitely a Joey, unfortunately. Sure do love his movies, though. Well, we can't say that we haven't seen some things, heard some things, and or have interpretations on some things that perhaps might align with that of your own beliefs. Point is that with Punk Rock Review, without the C, being first, okay, and having the opportunity and intentionally foregoing utilizing the C in the metric of Punk Rock Review, there's literally another channel called Punk Rock Review, okay? Now, It's a good channel. The dude's awesome that runs it. He puts work into his videos. He has awesome stories. He'll do interviews with different members of bands and stuff. The channel that he has grown exponentially. It's fantastic. We wish him the best. Okay? He is our brethren. He is that of another fellow punk rocker inherently by nature, and we don't shit on other bands. Okay? Except the ones that suck. Punk rock review, okay, the spelled proper way, the way that people can search out, the way that comes up in algorithms, the way that is forced into that of one's reasonings, all right, has 16.4 thousand subscribers, okay? Now, you say you've only got 60 subscribers on yours, but are they organic subscribers that resonate with your material, or are they what the algorithm craves? Shyzabox works an uphill battle. You can go right now, type in our channel, pull up YouTube by itself, type in Punk Rock Review, spelled our way. You don't get our fucking channel that we're on. You know what you get? You get the Punk Rock Review, who changed their name upon learning about our channel to the Punk Rock Review. Okay? It's not a joke. They did it out of respect because they understood the dynamics when they saw our channel was older and we could have done it first. Okay? They changed out of the goodness of their heart, theoretically. We don't know. We never talked to the guy outside of a couple interactions. Because we know Punk Rock Review exists. Punk rockers don't know that rock started Punk Rock Review before Punk Rock Review existed. But because punk rockers understand the dynamics of not naturally shitting on that of who is inherently out to do that of what is best for their own accord, why would you go against that? So fear not that you have that of 60 subscribers. Fear not if you have that of 1 subscriber. Present and do, K-Money, that of what you do, and the yielded results will come in their own afforded accord. Remember, a living system cannot visually witness that of its yielded gains. Very important, K-Money. Yes, you can witness view counts. Yes, you can witness subscribers. Yes, you can witness what can be monitored. But K-Money, the foundational truth of why it does not fucking matter whether you have 1 subscriber, 60 subscribers, what do we have? This says 1.23 thousand subscribers. People that will inherently wake up and be like, whoops, or not. But K-Money, if people start getting bored of content, if people start getting bored of individuals that are doing that of what they do and not presenting anything else dynamically to their situation, who's first to hit the chopping block, okay? That of whom was forced upon you, and that of whom resonates with you and maybe has something in common, okay? Now, we're not saying that any of the, entities themselves should be looked at and decoupled from that of their existence at all. Because it's in working together that things are done to a greater afforded degree thereof. Inherently, Punk Rock Review here was not about punk rock music. Okay? Punk Rock Review, foundationally in its metric, is afforded that of what is more along the lines of understanding, along the lines of entertainment, along the lines of compilationally working symbiotically to achieve metrics of fun. Inherently, the channel just wants to exist to be the channel that exists in the fun form and fashion that it can provide. You need not like it. You need not buy into it. You need not ascribe to it. You need not enjoy any component of it in itself. Okay? But it exists and it's there for that of whom wishes to engage with it. And this is why those subscriberification ships are not as metrically important as you might put weight and water into them. Okay? Now, like we said, you can visually see your gains. You can see if you get a subscriber. You can see if you get an upvote. You can see your view count, whatever. But there's an organic way to chase that where you actually yield results that matter, and there's an inorganic way to chase that where you throw money into the system, where you pay to have your comments posted more, where you pay to have your videos showcased more, where you pay to have your short put into people's feeds intentionally, okay? Theoretically, that's an inauthentic gain, and you're not going to yield the results that you desire. Maybe visually, maybe representationally, maybe in the metrics that make you feel goody-goody about yourself. So believe you me, no one wants to fail at what they do. Everyone wants to share what they create. For the most part. Some people create some sick shit and they wish to hide it. Think Joey. Yeah. If it's from Joey, it's a no-y. Disgusting. But yeah, every view that resonates is going to be a view that is that much more afforded to be of benefit than any 5 false views that don't understand, know, or even care. It's all subjective in that of where, you know, it is, okay? Now, if you wish to get to that of where you want to go and you wish to be that of, you know, more prominence and prevalence and that of what you do, keep going with what you've been going with and you'll keep getting what you've been getting, okay? If you want to alter trajectory, course, function, form, you can do that. And here, we'll give you a little piece of the pie. In our deductive reasoning, in our algorithmic, usages thereof, there are 2 metrics with which will afford you the best of channel growth going forward at this point in time in history, theoretically, in our opinion. Do not buy into that of any system that we say or any metric gains or anything like that, for we do not know. We can only deductively reason what we can. So this is all for philosophical entertainment, interpretations therewith. We give no advice on how to run anything. Do that of what you will do at that of your own accord. But theoretically, if you venture into things like shorts, okay, and live streaming, all right, those are going to be your 2 bigger ports where you're going to yield the most gain. People love interacting. People love having stuff. Hey, K-Money, we see right now, we haven't even read the whole comment, all right? But we see right now you are onto the perfect path. It's Operator Kev. I'd really like to reach 100 subscribers so I can live stream and talk about conspiracy theories and some political things. I'm a big conspiracy guy. K-Money, that is a fantastic goal. Okay? Let's do this. Hold on. Okay, money, this is what we can do. Okay, this is... Alright. If we don't get on this K-Money in the next... Well, here's how we'll think. Alright. No, let's make it better than that. Alright. K-Money, we're going to try and do anything we can in our power to just drive that one extra little looksy-ooksy, okay? So, there you go. All right, we're going to foundationally change the metrics because we ask not for anyone to subscribe to that of ourselves and or that of our endeavors. And because we chase not that of upvotes and things of that nature, we're going to change our descriptification, obviously, with your Platinum Diamond Tier Sponsorship Plus to drive people in your direction to hopefully get maybe 1 or 2 more little looksy-ooksies and maybe 1 or 2 more additional foundational metrics of subscriberships to get you to that threshold. Now, we don't got a big reach, K-Money. You know, I mean, we can only do what we can do. But we do put out theoretically enough content and have enough vernacular usages within which we can send people your way, hopefully, theoretically, and get you to where you desire to be. Because it is a lot more ascertainable, K-Money, to have a goal such as that, which is a beautiful goal to have. Wanting to get to 100 when you're at 60 is not only achievable, not only doable, but it's more doable and achievable than you might give yourself credit for. Okay? Keep the content coming, keep the content being pushed out, keep the good flow going, and that which resonates with you will reside in the dimensions of what correlates to your own personal closed K-Money Godelian loop. Okay? You make one for yourself, utilize that of what can be done, and function theoretically within the realms of what you can do. And believe you me, K-Money, 60 out of 100, psh, that's over halfway. You know this? It's a giant measured metric of a chord, but that's what we can do. We can add shit to our descriptification, and we can vernacularly tell people, go and subscribe to our buddy K-Money's It's Operator Kev's channel, because it's a necessity to get those theories being talked about, even in subjective understandings and metrics of ways, because the more light that is cast on that of what is misunderstood, not understood, the more discussion that is had, makes it even that much better. We know we don't have to do that, K-Money, but we're going to anyway. We would rather dedicate our time and effort into showcasing that of what another is capable of doing to shed light on that of what has been obfuscated, what has been not discussed enough. All right, we would rather send people to subscribe to that of your channel than ever beg for one subscripification here. Remember, we are not your average internet of the celebrity. It's because you suck. No, that's because we call Daryl Dixon dibs at being best of the worst. We know our place. It's the ground floor level of crap. K-Money, promise us that you don't think your work is crap. If your work is not crap, we wish you to stand on that of our shoulders and propel that of your thought into what the metric of foundational conversation, discourse, and or the epitome of understanding can inherently be. Okay? We know we need not do it, but when people work together to achieve a goal, generally, it can be obtained a little faster. Let us build the houses together, K-Money, because, believe you me, we don't got shit else going on. Don't subscribe to our channel. Go to It's Operator Kevin and subscribe to that one. Our channel sucks. Rock's in prison. Our show's just lined up here. Fuck this channel. This channel sucks. Go to It's Operator Kev, subscribe to that. Dude talks all sorts of awesome cosmology and astrology and astronomy. Theoretically, we might have poked around your channel once or twice. We probably forget now. We're going to go back and check again. K-Money. That's the thing. It's reciprocal, brother. We appreciate you. Okay? You need not thank that of what is for the greater good. Okay? You want to stream. Why should you not be allowed to? Because you don't meet the parameters that dictate you haven't had your channel long enough, you don't have enough foundational gains worth losing if you were to mess up. Believe you me, you can get yourself in some trouble with live streaming. Absolutely. You say the wrong thing, you go off the wrong metric, you do something, you're tanked before you even... But foundationally, yeah, you put in any of the dimensions. There's nothing that should inhibit you from even being able to enact upon your desire to do such now. Unfortunately, in the broken system we're in, the voices that people are afforded the opportunity to have, they cannot use. And when people use them wrong, they are discredited, thrown out the door, and or just looked down upon by the throngs of what is deemed acceptable in nature. That's right, because it's not the things that organically exist in nature, it's misrepresentations thereof. Okay? It's the argument of sugar versus high fructose corn syrup. Can you patent sugar? No, it naturally exists. Can you patent high fructose corn syrup stuff? Synthetically made sweeteners. Can you patent that stuff and make money off it to get a financial incentive and gain over that of man? Well, yes, you can. Theoretically, for subjective interpretations, understandings thereof. All right, we know we've missed a couple here. Let's get there. All right, yeah, we know we don't have to do that, but we're definitely going to. So we get to do what we want, K-Money. You know this. I need to put in some more work. I've got a few shorts on there and 2 videos reviewing alcoholic drinks. I've been thinking about working on my setup and doing vids. Well, hey, thinking about it is part of it, but K-Money, just do it. Okay? I need to work on my editing skills and tools. Well, K-Money, there's always going to be things to work on, okay? It's the degree of scrutinization that you put on yourself that might be inhibiting you, theoretically, in our subjective interpretations, from getting started there. You got a camera, you got a microphone, you got a cell phone, psh, make a video. You need to have thick skin. You need to have very, very, very thick skin. Okay? The internet's ruthless, you know this. You're a part of the internet, right? People are going to talk shit. People are going to hate. People are going to look down upon. People are going to want to have every component of your failure reach the visualizations that they can metrically account for and afford their usages therewith to make themselves feel better about themselves, theoretically. Okay? When you see another's failure, it makes that of your lack of that failure inherently feel like a success. That's a false representation thereof failure, though, because it's not that of own microcosm's failure. It's just a failure that exists in the macrocosm that a microcosm operates therein. Subjective to one's interpretive, understandings thereof. But yeah, you got the foundational metrics to do it. Do you have an idea? Do you have a goal? We would say this. Obviously, you can't do the live streaming now, but you can do the shorts. You can do the videos. So, start small. Start with what works. 1 topic, 2 topic. Do a dry cut run where you don't need editing even added to it, okay? Make an honest, open video where you can even map out, flesh out that of, yes, hello, and hi. Who's that? Jocelyn, you're back? Jocelyn, we thought you quit us long ago. Welcome back. We're supposed to leave a minute ago, but K-Money said, keep hanging out. Because we're like, hell yeah. So we are. And then he was like, Jocelyn's probably going to roll by later. We're like, well, then we're fucking staying. We ain't go nowhere. We love conspiracies ourselves. We're a big conspiracy guy. Now, obviously, we talk interpretive deductions of solvings thereto conspiracy more in our showcased form. And we like to bring, of course, receipts for that of the computational components and aspects that we can. Not anything, of course, that we've done has been empirically validated and or scrutinized under the lens and microscope of what mankind agrees or deems acceptable or okay. As we state, empirics be damned, we need not be beholden to that of what is negotiable. We have literally, second law of thermodynamics is so negotiable to us that, inherently the eigenvalues are the immutable laws of the computational domain and, system in itself. Okay? We need not worry about that of empirical validation for what is already Shaw-sealed and centered to the grid, lithically aligned topologically, and showcased in that of theoretically historical endeavors throughout all of history and known knowledge. But yeah, we would love to see more conspiracy talk and stuff out there because it's entertaining, because whether it's true, false, interpretive takes thereon add more to the conversation to find out what exists in the realm of truth that actually is true. Even when you point out falsities, falsehoods, and that of a lie, that is a lie that is true. Okay? It is a true lie. We don't mean the movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Psh, fucking awesome. Foundationally, all right, all of what exists, all right, even if it's a lie, is then a true form of what is not true. Okay? You can utilize that to your benefit for your justifications and means to do that of which you desire to do. Okay? You don't know. Oh, all right, yeah. All right. I have not made a video on theories. I'm planning doing so. Work on your script and setup. Yeah, absolutely. You get a script going, you're going to be good to go. And then, yeah, we saw that one. You believe we are correct? Yes, of course you do. It's because we believe we're correct, too. But we could be wrong. And we're willing to be wrong. All right? Prove us that therewith, and we thusly shall. That's right. Because it isn't being wrong that we can afford ourselves the opportunity to hopefully eventually be right. All right. Get out of here, K-Money. We don't want to quit you. You quit us. You leave first. No, you hang up first. No, you hang up. Take care of all your stuff, and if you got anything left over, we'll take any crap you got left. Because we don't want your subscription, we want your money. So downvote the shit out of this. Go to Cashapp and give us a buck, or go to Amazon.com, search Shyzabox books, and buy one of them. Or, for funsy giggles, go to Books A Million, make them order one of them motherfuckers. Get off our lawn!